If your legs feel weaker every year, if you need both hands to push yourself out of a chair, or your knees feel soft and shaky after just a few steps, then the daily walk you're counting on may not be rebuilding a single ounce of the muscle you've already lost. Here's why that matters. After 60, your body can lose up to 8% of its muscle mass every single decade. And once your legs have already weakened, ordinary walking doesn't create enough focused tension to build that muscle back. It keeps your legs moving. But moving and rebuilding are two completely different jobs. That's how the decline hides in plain sight. You still finish your daily walk, yet you need the arm rests a little more every month. Your steps get shorter, the stairs feel steeper, and the knees that once caught you automatically feel less dependable when you stumble. Walking still supports your endurance and circulation. But when the muscles that stand you up have already faded, they need direct, targeted work. And the safest place to do that work might surprise you, your own bed. In this video, I'll show you the 5 bed exercises rehabilitation specialists rely on most to rebuild weak legs. No equipment, no standing, no pressure on your knees or hips. And make sure you stay for number 1. It requires no lifting, no bending, and no sliding. Your leg barely moves at all, yet it directly contracts the exact muscle responsible for standing from a chair and supporting your knee during every step. Physical therapists reach for it first when a patient's legs are too weak for anything else, and pay close attention to number 2, because it targets the powerful hip muscles most older adults never deliberately train. When those muscles weaken, low chairs, stairs, and even the toilet become harder than they should be. Every exercise comes from established rehabilitation practice, and the supporting research is linked in the description below. But before we begin, tell me your age and which task has become hardest: standing from a chair, climbing stairs, walking without your knees feeling weak, or getting out of bed. I read these comments to understand exactly what older adults need help with next, so write yours below. Now, let's begin with number 5. Number 5, ankle pumps. I know what you're thinking. Ankle pumps sound far too simple to rebuild anything. But don't let that fool you, because this movement prepares your lower legs for everything that follows. Here's what's happening inside your legs. Your calf muscles are the pumps of your lower body, pushing blood out of your lower legs and back toward your heart. But when you've been sitting or lying down for hours, those pumps go quiet. Blood begins to pool. Your legs start to feel heavy, stiff, and slow. And muscles starved of fresh blood flow can't rebuild, no matter what exercise you give them. Walking uses your calves, but it rarely takes your ankles through their full comfortable range. Ankle pumps do. That's why hospitals teach this exact movement to patients recovering from surgery and bed rest. Here's how to do it. Lie flat on your back with your legs extended. If needed, place a small pillow beneath your knees and leave your feet free to move. Slowly point your toes toward the foot of the bed. Hold for 2 seconds. Then slowly pull your toes back toward your face, flexing your ankles as far as they'll comfortably go. Hold that for 2 seconds. That's 1 repetition. Breathe normally the whole time. Aim for 15 to 20 repetitions, once or twice a day to start. This is especially helpful if you spend much of the day sitting, your ankles swell by evening, or your first steps out of bed feel wobbly. Now, the mistakes. The first is rushing. A fast flicking motion does almost nothing because momentum takes over and your calves stop working. Slow down until each direction takes a full 2 seconds. The second is only pointing your toes and forgetting to pull them back. You need both directions. And the third is tiny, half-hearted movements. Reach the full comfortable range every time. For the best result, imagine you're slowly pressing down on a gas pedal, then slowly easing off it. That deliberate control is what separates a lazy ankle pump from one that genuinely restores your circulation. With consistent practice, the first place you may notice a difference is before breakfast. You place your feet on the floor, stand beside the bed, and those first steps no longer feel as heavy or uncertain as before. But circulation is only the foundation. In a moment, we'll reach the exercise that forces your weakened thigh to control the full weight of your leg, something an ordinary step never asks it to do. First, though, the knee needs to recover the bending pattern that standing and stairs depend on. That brings us to number 4, heel slides. This gentle flowing movement mirrors real life more closely than almost any other bed exercise. Every time you stand from a chair, climb a stair, or step out of a car, your hip and knee bend together in one smooth, controlled pattern. The heel slide trains that exact pattern while your body weight stays fully supported by the mattress. Here's why your legs need it. When knees stay stiff, every daily movement shrinks. Getting out of bed becomes a slow negotiation. Lowering into a chair turns into a drop. And here's the part most people never hear. Walking moves your knees through only a small slice of their range, over and over. It never restores the deeper bending your legs need for standing, sitting, and stairs. The heel slide does, without ever asking your knee to carry weight. That's why rehabilitation programs lean on this movement for knee stiffness and long stretches of inactivity. The slide lets the joint move freely without the pressure that makes other exercises painful. Here's how to do it. Lie flat on your back with both legs extended and your arms at your sides. Wear socks or smooth pajama bottoms so your heel can glide, or place a small towel under it if your sheets are textured. Starting with your stronger leg, slowly slide your heel along the mattress toward your buttocks, bending your knee as you go. Keep the heel touching the bed the entire time. Bring it as close as is comfortable and never force the knee into pain. Pause for 3 seconds, then slowly slide it back down. That's 1 repetition. Take about 4 seconds in each direction. Do 10 to 12 on one leg, then switch. Aim for 2 sets per leg, once or twice a day. This one is a gift for anyone whose knees feel stiff in the morning, anyone recovering from a fall or a long stretch of sitting, and anyone who struggles to get their legs moving out of bed. 2 mistakes will quietly steal your results. The first is letting the heel lift off the bed. The moment it lifts, this becomes a different exercise. Keep it pressed lightly into the mattress. The second is rushing the slide. Move quickly and momentum does the work instead of your muscles. And never push through sharp pain. Comfortable range only. The range will grow on its own. For extra benefit, gently tighten the top of your thigh as your heel slides up, as if pulling your kneecap toward your hip. That squeeze pulls your thigh into the movement alongside your hips. The first payoff may appear the next time you get out of bed. Instead of dragging the leg toward the edge or lifting it with your hands, the knee bends more willingly and the foot slides into position with less hesitation. And once your knee bends smoothly, your thighs are finally ready for the direct work I promised. Which brings us to number 3. Number 3, straight leg raises. If you asked 100 physical therapists to name one bed exercise for waking up weak thighs, most would name this one first. And there's a very good reason for that. The muscles on the front of your thighs, your quadriceps, are the engine for almost everything your legs do. They straighten your knee. They lower you into a chair with control. They catch you when you stumble. And they're among the first muscles to fade after 60. When they weaken, your knees feel like they might buckle. Getting out of a chair becomes a two-hand struggle. Walking downstairs starts to feel genuinely frightening. And here's the trap. Walking barely challenges these muscles because walking never asks your thigh to lift and control the full weight of your leg. The straight leg raise does exactly that, with zero pressure on the knee joint itself. Here's how to do it correctly, because the details decide everything, and because the knee stays still. This works even for sensitive arthritic knees. Lie flat on your back. Bend one knee and place that foot flat on the mattress. That bent leg is your anchor, protecting your lower back. The other leg stays straight. Now, before you lift anything, tighten the muscle on top of that straight thigh by drawing your kneecap up toward your hip. This pre-tightening is the step most people skip, and skipping it is how you end up straining your hip instead of building your thigh. Once the muscle is engaged, slowly raise the straight leg about 12 inches off the bed. Hold for 5 seconds. Then lower over 3 to 4 seconds, slow and controlled. Exhale as you lift. Aim for 8 to 10 raises per leg, 2 sets per side, once a day to start. This movement is especially powerful for anyone whose knees buckle, anyone who can't stand without pushing off the armrests, and anyone whose legs feel wobbly on stairs. Now the mistakes. First, bending the working knee. The moment it bends, your quadriceps stop doing the work. Keep that leg straight like a board. Second, swinging the leg up with momentum. If you can't lift slowly, lift lower. Third, lifting too high. 12 inches is plenty. Higher shifts the work away from your thigh and can arch your lower back. The cue that fixes almost everything. Pull your kneecap towards your hip before your heel ever leaves the bed. With consistent practice, the thigh may begin to feel awake again, as though the leg finally wants to lift instead of dragging behind. You may notice it when clearing a stair, stepping into the car, or bringing your leg onto the bed without helping it with your hands. But your thighs only lift and control the leg. To lift your entire body, you need a bigger engine, and that engine is next. Number 2, glute bridges. This is the one I told you to watch for. Here's a muscle group almost nobody over 60 thinks about, and it might be the single biggest reason standing up has gotten harder. Everyone worries about their knees. Everyone worries about their thighs. But the glutes, the large muscles of your buttocks and hips, are what actually drive your body upward every time you rise from a chair, climb a stair, or push up off the toilet. And here's what happens when they fade. Your knees and lower back are forced to take over work they were never designed to do. That's a huge part of why so many older adults feel their backache after standing, why deep chairs become traps, and why the toilet turns into a daily ordeal. And rehabilitation specialists know it well. Regular walkers can still have profoundly weak glutes because walking never asks the hips to extend against real resistance. The glute bridge does. Here's how to do it safely. Lie on your back with both knees bent and your feet flat on the mattress, about hip width apart, heels roughly 6 inches from your buttocks. Arms at your sides, palms down. Now, this order matters. Squeeze your buttocks first. Then press down through your heels and slowly lift your hips until your body forms a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. Do not lift past that line. Higher only strains your lower back. Hold at the top for 5 seconds, keeping the squeeze the entire time. Then lower slowly over 3 to 4 seconds. Exhale as you lift, inhale as you lower. Aim for 10 to 12 repetitions, 2 sets, once a day. This movement is made for anyone who struggles to rise from low chairs or the toilet, anyone whose lower back aches after standing, and anyone whose hips feel like they give out mid-step. The mistakes. First, and most important, lifting with the lower back instead of the glutes. If you feel this in your back, you're lifting wrong. Squeeze the buttocks before your hips ever leave the mattress, and the back discomfort disappears. Second, letting the knees collapse inward or flare outward. Keep them pointing straight ahead, stacked over your ankles. Third, pressing through your toes. Drive through your heels instead. That keeps the work in your hips where it belongs. For the strongest carryover, give one extra firm squeeze at the very top before you come down. That final squeeze is the exact strength that shows up when you rise from a chair. The first place you may feel this strength is not during exercise. It may be in the bathroom when you lean forward, press through your feet, and rise without that desperate pull from the counter, or both hands pushing against your thighs. Now, the bridge moves almost your entire lower body. But the final exercise does the exact opposite. Your leg barely moves at all, and that is exactly what makes it the most surprising movement on this entire list. Number 1, quadriceps sets. This is the movement I promised you, and it may be the most deceptive exercise on the entire list. The bridge lifted almost your whole lower body. The straight leg raise forced your thigh to control the weight of the leg. But this final movement does something completely different. No lifting, no bending, no sliding. Your heel stays on the mattress, and from across the room, it looks like nothing is happening at all. Yet this is the exercise physical therapists reach for first when a person's legs are too weak, too sore, or too limited for anything else. It looks easier than everything before it, but done correctly, the front of your thigh will feel anything but passive. Here's the simple science. The quad set is an isometric contraction. You tighten the muscle as hard as you comfortably can while the joint stays completely still. And here's the counterintuitive truth about already weakened legs. Gentle, repetitive movement, like ordinary walking, doesn't create enough tension to demand rebuilding. A strong, focused contraction does. And it delivers that tension straight to the front of your thigh. The muscle that supports your knee on every step stands you up from a chair and lowers you back down with control. And with zero joint motion, there's essentially no impact, making this one of the safest strengthening exercises in existence, even for arthritic knees. Here's exactly how to do it. Lie flat on your back with both legs extended. If you like, place a small rolled towel under one knee for a slight, comfortable bend. Work one leg at a time. Gently pull your toes back toward your face. Then tighten the front of your thigh and press the back of your knee firmly down into the mattress or the towel, as if flattening something underneath it. You'll feel the thigh harden, and you may see your kneecap pull slightly upward. That's the quad set. Keep your heel resting heavy on the bed. Hold for about 10 seconds and breathe the entire time. Never hold your breath, then release completely for 5 seconds. Start with 10 contractions per leg, once or twice a day. Strong but comfortable effort, quality over quantity. Now, the movement may be simple, but the mistakes are almost invisible. You can press the knee down, complete every repetition, and still let the hip or heel steal the work from your thigh. So watch these details. First, lifting the heel. If it rises, you've turned this into a different exercise. Keep it heavy. Second, tightening the hip instead of the thigh. All the effort belongs on the front of the thigh, above the knee. Third, giving a quick pulse instead of a controlled hold. Build the pressure, hold it while breathing normally, then release completely. And if you ever feel sharp pain, stop. After recent knee surgery, check with your clinician on timing first. Here's the cue that makes it click. Place your hand flat over the front of your thigh. When you press your knee down, the muscle should harden under your fingers while your heel stays heavy on the bed. If you feel that hardening, you're doing it exactly right. With consistent practice, the payoff may first appear in an ordinary moment that used to make you hesitate. You sit near the edge of a chair, lean forward, and stand with less force through your hands. Or, you make that nighttime walk to the bathroom and realize the wall is no longer something you reach for at every step. From the outside, your leg barely moves, but underneath, it's practicing the exact job it must perform every time your body rises against gravity. The goal is not to stop walking. The goal is to rebuild the muscles that make every step feel dependable. So there you have it. 5 bed exercises, each with one clear job. Ankle pumps wake up the lower legs. Heel slides restore controlled bending through the knees and hips. Straight leg raises teach the quadriceps to control the weight of the leg. Glute bridges strengthen the hips that drive your body upward. And quadriceps sets deliver focused tension into the thigh muscle behind standing and knee support. You don't need to master all 5 tonight. If your legs are very weak, begin with the quadriceps set. Do it slowly. Feel the muscle harden beneath your hand and add the others as your control improves. 5 honest minutes a night, done consistently, will do more than an exhausting session you can't repeat. Walking still has important benefits, but when strength has already declined, walking and targeted contraction have different jobs. One practices the step, the other rebuilds the strength behind it. But do not stop here. Stronger legs help you stand and walk, but you also need the balance to catch yourself when something goes wrong. The next video shows 3 wall exercises to begin before a sudden fall happens. If you feel unsteady, reach for furniture, or worry about losing your footing, watch that video now. A few minutes of practice could protect your independence and may prevent a fall that changes everything.